Yes, you should have.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Why the fuck would you think they deployed an EMP? God damn, you say some retarded shit. Such retarded shit.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
I feel like you're not an expert in anything, but you always have the most complicated way to do anything. You're like, I think that's the way they did it. I don't, it's just so retarded. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Venezuela. Venezuela is the topic. That's what we got going on. I got the press conference pulled up. That's where we're going to start. Thank you guys for joining us. If you want to support the show, do it at not Truth Social. Do it at just quick links. There you go. There's the links to donate. Leave a message. We'll read it live on air. Thank you guys for showing up once again, I guess. No Bert tonight. You guys stuck with me instead. Is that what's happening? Here we go. Start it over.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big stuff, and we appreciate you being here. Late last night,
Because we took an NFL team to go fight a fucking mentally handicapped kindergarten.
and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning.
The sad part about it, Maduro's a piece of shit, right? I'm not trying to defend him or his actions. But he had to know, like, he should have just went and retired in Russia. Like, I know it sucks to give in to the pressure and stuff like that, but he should have just went and fucking retired.
Effective and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about,
I have it on pretty good authority that we've had a covert CIA team in Venezuela following Maduro around since about August, tracking his every move.
we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani.
Well, my opinion is you're fucking retarded. You're fucking retarded. There's zero evidence that a tactical EMP was used. Do you think after the EMP is not used that everything just comes back on? You know, it fries fucking everything, right? I've never met somebody so fucking dumb. I'm no expert and know nothing about this topic, but I bet this happened. Video game controller evolves into a muscled version of itself under the word level up. Thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Super chat.
The attack on al-Baghdadi and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites.
I will tell you this. I know this for a fact. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to trust me. But I still know some people in some units in the military that I met through different ways. And I know for a fact in the United States, we have an exact one-for-one replica of his compound that they've been training on for months.
Just recently, in an operation known as Midnight Hammer.
Hell, Trump might say that. I haven't seen this yet, but I know that's true. It's in North Carolina.
All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly,
I don't think he made a deal. I heard, now I've not watched any news on this. Zero news on this, other than like the U.S. invades. He's been picked up. He's been arrested. So he might say all this shit in this thing. Donald Trump made a secure call to Maduro. I think it was last week, and said, you either go on your own or we're coming to get you, right? And Maduro said basically that he was thinking it over, but he didn't think he was going to make that decision. He wanted to stay in his country. He believed that we didn't have legitimacy, blah, 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 all that shit, right? I've also heard that he reached out for foreign support, and it was just absent, mostly like, hey, we're with you in solidarity, you know, thoughts and prayers kind of deal. He would have been smarter, him and his wife, to just take the Russian retirement plan where you're like a dictator that Russia kind of likes and you go there. But they might not have offered it to him. They might have said, Russia might have said, no, you got to stay. If you leave, then it's the same as them coming and fucking taking you out. We're not giving you the Russian retirement plan. Because if he would have left, we would have done the same thing. We would have put in our own fucking proxy there, right? Treated it as a U.S. colony. And Russia likes that foothold they got in Venezuela. Most dictators that are friendly with Russia always have that. Always have the Russian retirement plan. They put you in some fucking place, whatever. You retire the rest of your life, multimillionaire, never want for anything, blah, blah, blah. Don't really have to be looking over your shoulder. We're not sending a whole lot of fucking CIA assets into Russia, blah, blah, blah. But
just all perfect. The attack on al-Baghdadi
and we did call it, Trump always makes these moves on a Friday. Always. Always, always, always. So the market reaction is slower.
Obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer.
Is everything Midnight Hammer? That was the same operation name. Is everything Midnight Hammer?
All perfectly executed.
Or is he saying like Midnight Hammer?
Baghdadi and the obliteration and decimation.
Oh, okay, he's talking about Iran.
Nuclear sites.
Okay.
Just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer. All perfectly executed and done. No nation.
There is no hiding the evidence that an EMP was used. That's just the dumbest fucking shit to say in the world. We have real-time camera footage. How do you think those processors worked in those cameras after an EMP? God damn. Some of y'all, I wonder how you made it to adulthood.
In the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military.
I don't know anything about it, but I say we take 52 drones, synchronize them, give them fucking net guns, and net gun drug traffickers with drones. I don't know nothing about it. I have no idea about it, but I just say that's probably the easier way to do it. 50 synchronized drones with net guns. Fucking retard.
Capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women.
No, you don't read between the lines. You don't read between the lines. The dead of night is a fucking phrase that's always used. You make up shit between the lines. Like you read in the dead of night and you think, oh my God, the first ever use of a tactical nuke over Venezuela. I knew it. I got it. I figured it out. Why can't you just entertain it? Because there's zero fucking evidence. You cannot hide. I don't know.
Our military,
you're a fucking retard.
U.S. law enforcement successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night.
Your stupidity is not good for my blood pressure.
The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted.
Once they nab him, right? What can he do? He's just got to cooperate. That's it. Or die. Right? The fucking CIA comes in. They've already moved in. They already fucking blowtorched the doors off the fucking hinges and went in. Neutralized whatever they had to neutralize to grab him. Probably not much. Then Fucking Chinooks are inbound. All their anti-aircraft shit's taken offline. Those are the explosions we saw. Just enough to keep people's heads down. It's not like they're at the bleeding edge of fucking anti-aircraft technology, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they got fucking trebuchets. Like, the fuck out of here, right? We put some heads down. Chinooks come in, take off. Then he's fucking snatch and grab. That's it.
In the Southern District of
When we would go grab somebody in fucking Iraq, the fight's over when you got a bag on your head and you're handcuffed in the back of a fucking Humvee or the back of a Chinook. Or what are you going to do?
of New York, it's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed.
There is zero evidence that proves that we didn't use drone net guns to net him up, right? And he was netted up in his bed, sheets and all. That's why his wife we weren't even trying to get his wife. She was just asleep beside him. We call that net overreach, right? Netted them both up, Egyptian sheets and all. And it was just a big ball of laundry. We had to see what we got once the net drones returned.
Power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some.
Yeah, the possession of a machine gun is fucking on whose law? On who? Like, yeah, he can't have a possession of a machine gun in the U.S. He wasn't in the U.S. He's the commander of in chief of his military. Just like what the fuck are you talking about? Fucking possession of a machine gun.
Raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea. We were just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have.
I heard that Trump wanted to do this on Christmas. That's when he was ready to go. But the stuff in Nigeria took precedent.
I'm very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people.
To be fair, I just hope they stop blowing up random fucking people in the Caribbean now, right? In the fucking ocean.
Involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service.
Listen, not one piece of equipment was lost in the dead of night. If you read between the lines, EMP. Forget about all the electronics that are still working today in Caracas. EMP. Many EMPs. On nets, on drones. Dead of night. What does that mean to you? Fucking 0 dark 30? What the fuck does it mean to you? EMP.
Member was more importantly killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people.
None of this is true. Those boats were headed for Europe with cocaine, not fentanyl. They weren't even headed to the U.S. This is craziest shit ever.
We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious.
So I was looking up. It looked like they had clear skies and a full moon last night too, which helps.
Transition, and it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total.
The One Big Beautiful Bill had phrasing about electromagnetic pulses as far as, or at least what I saw. I guess I could have missed it, but about energy security against potential electromagnetic pulse.
Total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest.
It's a slow-moving stroke.
Anywhere in the world.
He basically just says, we're fucking moving in. We're sending companies down there, even though U.S. companies are like, we don't want to go down there. We don't want that oil. Like, what our domestic oil production is already laying off people. Like U.S. domestic oil production, because oil is so cheap, is already laying off people, right? What do you think it's going to do when Trump forces companies down there to just turn the fucking spigot on?
Go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure.
If we wanted to fix basically anything security-wise in the U.S. and like have a gigantic like infrastructure bill for it, it would probably be, besides like aging bridges and shit, which are a major concern, but the electric grid, which is fucking crazy. There's like when I worked in power plants and shit, there's so much of the electric grid that's just like fucking duct tape and bubble gum. And China for years has been honing in on we need a national something, a group, an agency, a national agency that partners with local municipalities to harden their infrastructure, like their computer systems, right? China has been strategically for like fucking 20 years hacking into tiny municipalities, their water plants, their water treatment, their sewage plants, like their like electric grid, everything. We see it pop up sometimes when someone turns some shit off and shuts the water down to like a town of like fucking 5,000 people. We know if they're infiltrating all those places, they're infiltrating every fucking place they can get into. And I'm sure cities like LA or New York City are probably more hardened against something like that. But we're talking like mid to small size cities. Those people have no fucking idea what's going on. And most of it's running on fucking like Windows 98. Like it's insane.
The oil infrastructure and start making money for the country.
So they're gonna fuck Trump, I think, is what OPEC is gonna do. So if you don't know about Trump's last OPEC deal, Trump went to OPEC and begged them to increase oil production in his first term, okay? Begged them. And they said, the only way we'll do it is if you put sanctions on Iran and lessen their oil supply. So basically what we'll do, we'll give a little bit extra, but what we're really doing is once you sanction their oil supply, then we'll bring ours online to replace it, plus a little bit more to lower the gas prices. He said, done, right? Trump put the sanctions on Iran, then lifted the sanctions almost immediately after they upped the production. And then fucking OPEC said, fuck you then. And that's how we ended up with $5 a gallon.
And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave.
It's got a lot of implications. I don't know that he should have handled it like this. I think he thinks handling it like this instead of some type of like assault or, troops in the street makes him look better. And he can say, well, we're not really in a war. This was a law enforcement, blah, 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 blah. But it has tons of implications, right? China partners with Venezuela. They get almost all of Venezuela's oil. Russia partners with them. It's in our hemisphere. He's kind of telling them to back off. Plus, it kind of makes Russia look bad because Russia can't even fucking invade Ukraine, and we went down there and snatched somebody out in the middle of the night. And it kind of makes China look bad because China's still trying to plan how to fucking take over Taiwan. And we just went down there and grabbed somebody in the middle of, you know what I mean? Like, it has a bunch of implications. Which ones did he mean to happen and which ones are just happened because of what this is? And did he handle it the appropriate way? I don't want to defend Maduro. Maduro was a piece of shit. He was a bad guy. I don't know we should have handled it like this. I don't know we should have done it without, like, one man having this power unilaterally be like, I don't like that leader, so we're going to fuck with him for 6 months, and then we're going to go in and snatch him up. That's fucking crazy without Congress or somebody.
If we needed to do so, we actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was
a second wave of what? The guy's gone. Right? Your whole issue was him.
Pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants.
Did you see that, what I posted from Tim Pool? So Tim Pool, months ago, was saying this, of course, talking about what his number one priorities are in a president, right? Or years ago, I'm sorry, in 2019. Ending private prisons, ending the death penalty, ending regime change war. Those are just my top 3 priorities. 8 hours ago, the U.S. economy about to boom. Tons of free oil headed our way. Okay. God damn, dude. You can't make it up.
To be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was...
Do you think he really gives a fuck about suffering? There's people suffering all over the world. There's people suffering in the U.S., right? And he's cutting food stamps and social safety net programs. Of course not.
The kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of America.
And fucking Joe Rogan, you remember that chart I was making fun of that Pam Bondi put out? That was, it was actually Joe Biden's administration when he was showing the drop in drug deaths. Fucking Joe Biden showed that. I'm sorry, Joe Biden. Joe Rogan showed that on his fucking podcast. It's like, I don't think it has to do with power or oil or anything, man. I just think Trump really hates drugs. He really hates drugs, and he's just trying to stop it, man. Look at this chart. Look at the overdoses. The chart ended in October of 2024. Who was president in October of 2024?
Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to, ultimately, New York, and then
There's no way that Nick Shirley's this dumb, is he? Nick Shirley, wait a minute. The mainstream media lied to us again. The people of Venezuela actually didn't like being ruled by a narco-terrorist. World Cup-style celebrations are erupting all across Venezuela at the moment. Congratulations to people of Venezuela. This is Miami. That's Miami. That's not Venezuela.
decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition,
I think Congress is starting to get pissed, right? He's taking away their power, and that's not something they give up easily. And they shouldn't. That's why they have different powers. And typically, at least members of Congress, especially like on certain committees, right, would be given a heads up. They didn't even tell Congress until the attack was already underway. And Trump claimed it was because he thought that Congress might leak it.
to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States. Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide, and he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now.
And they said Maduro tried to flee to like a safe room he had in his house. He should have been sleeping in that motherfucker, dude. You had to know we were coming.
Have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe.
Someone told me that there was an aircraft hit and multiple injuries, U.S. injuries. No deaths, but injuries.
Safe cities anywhere in the world, frankly. And now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat. But we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have on average two a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're walking their daughters. They're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening.
It's only it is a 12% chance that they'll invade by the end of this year.
All over Washington,
on Poly Market.
See, so I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement.
There's actually a 14% chance that China and Japan's militaries meet in battle. That's a bigger chance than Poly Market's given China invading Taiwan by the end of 2026. I think it's probably 2027, 2028, that they're definitely prepping for it.
Been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of
No crime.
Louisiana. And we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks.
Crime in Memphis was at a historic low for, was it violent crime? I think it was just crime. Overall crime in Memphis was at a historic low for the first 8 months of 2025.
Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit.
It doesn't matter. We don't need it. I don't even have to bring it up, but I'll bring it up one more time.
But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C.
They would have lost the city. If Trump wouldn't have sent troops there, they would have lost the entire city of Los Angeles.
It's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the...
What do you even do? God damn, he's spiraling. It's the weave. No, it's fucking dementia. I don't know what the fuck it is. You can't stay on topic.
Safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Trinidad, and they were sent by Maduro.
Even Marco Rubio's like, what the fuck? Look at him back here. Look at he's shifting his weight back and forth like, what the fuck?
Tortured and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Trinidad, and they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never...
Maduro sent people to terrorize United States citizens.
Again, be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats.
ICE has terrorized more U.S. citizens than Maduro has.
For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives...
Marco Rubio has the biggest ears of any human. I don't know if it's something to do with like intelligence gathering or what, but they are fucking gigantic, dude.
We're so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuela.
It's like half his face, dude. Like if I took that ear, the top of that ear, and put it right here, it would cover his eye. His earlobe would cover his eye. It's like this fucking big. Like what the fuck is that? It bothers me every time I see him.
Organization, really one of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari, whatever.
Jocelyn.
They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Trinidad.
It reminds me of that guy that was interviewed by The Good Liars. Is that the name of the channel? The Good Liars, where they're like, and the guy's like, and what about 9/11? Obama was in on it. And the guy's like, yeah, why wasn't Obama doing more during 9/11? That's what it reminds me of.
Animals, they murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after.
Very special bridge. I like my blood nice and thin. The doctors tell me, no, way too thin. I say, thin it some more, you commie bastard.
What happened? As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent.
Look at that. Look at that goddamn ear, dude. That's 75% of his face. Like hot. Either his fucking ear is gigantic or his head is tiny, and his head looks kind of normal. Like, it doesn't look, you know how you can like tell people's shoulders and they have like a tiny head? This guy that I've been secretly beefing with on TikTok, because he just makes up a bunch of stupid fucking stories. Is that his name? I might have his name wrong. That's not him. What is his name then? I made a video about him. Hold on. He's got a way too big head, or a way too small head. Hold on, you'll see it immediately. They're finally fixing that road, and since I'm going, just for the people who, bro, there's no way you have this guy. That many. Zach Rushing, not Kyle. Zach Rushing. He has all these crazy fucking stories, and he acts like they just happen to him every day. And he's always, look, his head is too small for his body. Look at his shoulders. Look at his tiny little peanut head.
Man, bring a gun into my store today, and I don't.
This is the one that sent me over the top. Listen to this story. We'll go back to Trump in just a second, okay?
I had a.
Now, I want to remind you, this guy is a gun collector, okay? Collecting guns for years. And there is one very, very specific, very hard to find, very rare gun that comes into his shop to complete his collection. It's the only one he doesn't have of this, like, set of guns. Hassan's head is another one, yes. It's like they work it, and if I understand, like, Hassan works out and he does a lot of shoulder workouts. If he would work out his neck, it wouldn't make it so obvious. But when your neck's like this big around, your shoulders are broad as fuck, and then you have an already undersized head, it looks, just work out, just make your neck thicker, and it throws the whole dynamic off. You can't tell.
Man, bring a gun into my store today.
Now listen.
So guns. So as soon as I saw it, I immediately got nervous until I come around the corner and I realized that like an 80-year-old, 5'3" man was holding this gun. He walked right up to the counter where I was standing at, and he threw that gun up on the counter. He said, "Mr. Russian."
His store that he owns sells like hunting and hunting accessory, not guns, but like camouflage and probably tree stands and bait and shit like that, hunting stuff.
I know you've been looking for one of these guns. As soon as he set it on the counter, I knew what kind of gun it was, because I guess he watches my videos, because I've mentioned it multiple times, that the only gun that I'm missing out of my Browning A5 Belgian-made collection is the Sweet 16, and that is exactly what's currently sitting on my counter in my store. And I told him, I said, "Buddy, I don't sell guns." He goes, "I understand that, Mr. Russian, but I know you've been looking for this gun, and I'm hoping that you would make a deal with me. You see, Mr. Russian, this was my daddy's gun. He gave it to me, and my grandson has gotten really into hunting, but he doesn't have the proper jackets and base layers and warm clothing and stuff in order to weather the storm out there. And I don't make a whole bunch of money no more. I make just enough for me and my wife to live on. And my grandson doesn't have a dad. His father, the guy told me."
So this guy just comes out and says, "I want to trade you this gun," and gives him this whole sob story. My grandson doesn't have a dad. He's a piece of shit. Me and my wife are poor. This is all I got. My daddy gave it to me. He told me to keep it forever. I can't do nothing with it. I'm going to give it to you, and I need to trade it. Really? That's how it all went down? And you saw a guy with a gun, but you didn't realize he was an 85-year-old grandpa until he came around the corner, and then you're like, oh, he's an old man, so it's fine.
Father's running around here somewhere, but as far as having a dad, he ain't no dad to that boy. I said, "Well, how can I help you, sir?" He said, "Well, I'm hoping, because you've been looking for this gun for years, and I have one, that maybe we could work out some kind of a deal where I could give you my daddy's gun, and in return, I could get some stuff for my grandson to go hunting with." He said, "Would you be open to that?" I said,
"These are Belgian Browning-made, like, shotguns. Semi-automatic shotguns, and this one's a 16 gauge. It's the Sweet 16 A5, blah blah blah. You know, it's a few $1,000s.
Absolutely, I am. I've been searching for this gun for 15 years. Absolutely, I will. So I set the gun behind the counter, and we went walking around the store, and I got his grandson early season camouflage, late season camouflage, boots, thermals, socks, grunt calls. I ran over to my case, and I got one of my favorite Burris scopes out of it. I put it with the pile and everything, and as we were walking back up to the front of the store, I asked him, I said, "Sir, does your grandson need anything else?" And he was so thankful. He said, "No, Mr. Rushing, no. This is more than I ever could have imagined. Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, man, look, this is for your grandson. This is fine." And we came back up to the counter, and like I said, I'd already set the gun behind the counter in order to like walk around the store with him and whatnot. And he set all of this stuff up on the counter, and I started putting it in bags and stuff for him. And he pulled out a piece of paper out of his pocket, and it was a bill of sale that he already had drawn up. Like it had his name, the serial number, the model of the gun, who he was selling it to.
It's a cool gun. So back in the probably around the 40s and 50s, 16 gauge was super popular. It's in between 12 and 20, and it's just not as popular anymore.
The only thing left to do was just for me to sign it. And so, I mean, I signed that paper so fast, it was ridiculous. And I left, and I went and made a copy for him and me, and I gave him one back and everything. And I handed him the bags, and I said, "Thank you, sir." He goes, "No, buddy, thank you." And he made it about 2 steps toward the door, and he stopped. And he turned around and looked at me. He said, "Mr. Rushing, would it be okay if I held my daddy's gun one more time?"
Can I just hold it one more time? Okay. If this was the only video this guy made like this, I'd be like, oh man, that sounds like a once in a lifetime crazy story. This guy makes 3 of these videos a day. Once in a lifetime things. Like, I've lived a crazy fucking life. Crazy shit has happened. When I go tell stories to people and I'm like, here's the craziest things that's ever happened to me, they're like, God damn. Holy shit. Like fucking 10 once in a lifetime things have happened to you over your lifetime. This guy has 3 a day. Bullshit.
I said, yeah, man. He looked at me and said, "I promise I won't run away," which we kind of both laughed because this man couldn't run if he wanted to. He's ancient. He set his bags back up on the counter. And
Don't worry, he becomes the hero at the end, too.
The gun across the counter, he took it with 2 hands just like this right here, and he put his forehead.
People call me out on bull. I understand when people are like, bullshit. There's no fucking way that happened to you. And this happened to you. And I'm like, it's the truth. You don't have to believe it. It's the truth. Whatever. And I swear, I just have a few of these spread out over my life. Like crazy fucking one-off, nobody would believe it, crazy scenarios I've been in. Stories I tell. I've told a lot of them here on the stream. And people are like, that's just way too many. Like, that's too many. But this guy has multiple of these happen every day. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
The 4-stock. He said, Dad, you always told me the family comes first.
Family comes first.
He's going to have one heck of a Christmas.
He's giving a dad speech. The old man is now talking to his dad through the gun out loud.
This year, all because of you. I love you, Dad. And I'll never forget the memories that we made with this gun. But this is the only way that I know to provide for my grandson. And he leaned up and he kissed the 4-stock. And he
kissed it. Bye, Dad. Bye, Dad. Let me make sure your chamber's clear one more time. The fuck?
Get back over the counter to me. I set it down and he grabbed his bag and he stuck out his hand. I reached out there and I grabbed his hand and I said, thank you again. And he squeezed my hand tighter than I even knew that he could possibly do it. And he said,
and now he's old man super strength.
Mr. Rushing, thank you. You're gonna make a young man's Christmas the most special Christmas ever. He's gonna be the happiest boy on the whole planet. And that made me smile. And he went to go walk outside. He walked outside. I watched him going through the parking lot. And he got to his car. He opened up the back door of his car.
Like a Lifetime movie. He walks to his car. He loads all the goods in it. He looks down at the goods. He looks back at the store. And a single tear falls down from his right tear duct all the way down to where it drips off his chin. He gives a stern nod and goes to turn around. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
He set the bags in the back seat and closed the door. And he went to go open up the driver's door to get into his car. And by the time that it got all the way open, I stopped the door. I wouldn't let it open all the way. And he stopped and he looked at me. And as soon as he looked at me, my left hand, I handed him that Sweet 16. And he looked at me. He goes, Mr. Rushing, you're not comfortable with the deal no more? He said, hang on one second. I'll get all the stuff out of the car and I'll go put it back exactly where I found it. And I told him, I said, no, man, I'm more comfortable now than I've ever been. I took at my right hand, I reached in my pocket, and I grabbed that bill of sale, and I ripped it up.
Ripped it up right in front of him.
I said, that's your gun, buddy. He said, Mr. Rushing, no, sir. No, that's your gun. I don't have the money to pay for this stuff. I said, I understand that, and that's okay. But that's your gun.
So he gave him the gun back.
That was your daddy's gun. You did an act that is so rare.
Amazing.
That you're willing to give up your daddy's gun to make sure that your grandson has a good damn Christmas? Nah, buddy. And I told him, I said, look, I've been blessed in my life way more than what I deserve to be blessed.
Amazing.
So I want you to take this gun and take it back to where...
Don't worry. He cries about every fifth video. I know people are like, well, he's actually crying. So every fifth video is a tearjerker. He cries on command.
Because although that's your gun right now, that's going to be your grandson's gun one day. He looked at me, he said, what about all the stuff? I said, no, that's also that boy's Christmas presents. That young man don't have any idea how lucky he is. Because he has a grandfather.
I'll show you another one of his unbelievable stories in a second.
Who cares more about other people than he cares.
It's either, it's one of two things. So it's either a tearjerker like this, or it's like, I ran into a girly man or a trans person, and they wanted me to call them she, and I said, no, sir, I'm standing up in the middle of this red robin for all the patriots of America. Like some anger, fucking right-wing grift bullshit. It's always a fucking lie.
Himself. And that's like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And the old man's eyes, y'all, his old man's eyes is just like shocked. They're like that big around. He just stares at the ground. And
so his eyes are also gigantic. You can see his gigantic eyes, but he's staring at the ground as well.
I guess my daddy was right.
Were you fucking laying down looking at him?
Some years ago. And I said, right about what, sir?
My daddy was right all them years ago. When he took me by his deathbed and told me.
He looked up at me, he said, one act of kindness will inspire another. And my heart sank.
Sank. Right out of my chest.
Because that's the exact words. Sorry. That's the exact words that my daddy used to tell me.
They had the same dad.
And just for a minute, I felt him.
Triple B Outdoors, I think's his store right there. Maybe, I don't know.
He was there with me. He was there with me in that moment. He passed on now, but he still shows up from time to time. I looked at that old man, and he started tearing up, and I did too. I gave him a hug, and I told him, I said, Merry Christmas, buddy. You deserve to have something nice done for you too. That is, I tell you this story not to gloat or tell you about something that I did nice for somebody.
Really? That's not the point of it. Why did you even have to tell this story then? Why wouldn't you just take the amazing feeling you got and the connection with your dad and this old man and his? Why wouldn't you just keep it to yourself? Why tell this story?
Wasn't that? It was kind of humbling, and I'm sorry I'm rambling, but it's kind of humbling that that man had it figured out. He was.
I think Erica Kirk's crying gets overshadowed by the pyrotechnics. She's probably a really good crier, but we're all watching the fireworks.
Up his prized possession of his grandson, because he knew that gun was no longer his prized possession. His grandson was. And that's something we could all really take into account. Family. That's our most prized possession. I get my sweet 16 one day. But that one is where it belongs. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And if I don't see or talk to you before Christmas.
That was his big Thanksgiving post. Let's see let's check that. Does he have any pinned videos? No. Let's see if I can find this one. Hold on.
I watched a transgender person lose their shit over absolutely nothing. This is my story.
Did you?
Yesterday, I called up an old veteran buddy of mine and my dad's, and I ain't seen him in a while, and I wanted to take him to dinner and just kind of catch up. So I called him up, asked him to supper. He said, yeah, and I met him down at the restaurant in the parking lot. We walked in together, went and sat down at the booth, and the waitress came up to us and said, hey, can I get y'all something to drink? He said, yes, ma'am, I believe I'm going to have a sweet tea. Zach, what are you going to have? Before I could answer, the waitress cut my buddy off and said, excuse me, but I don't really believe in genders. I actually identify as they, them. So whenever you address me, can you make sure that you address me as they, them? He goes,
things that have never happened ever. This has never happened. Right? Especially to somebody that has to work as a waitress. They get shit all fucking day. You think they're going to interrupt you while you're ordering and say, I'm a they, them?
I don't care about that. Zach, you gonna have sweet tea? I said, yes, sir. He said, 2 sweet teas, please. They walk off, bring back the tea. When they set the teas down on the table, they say, just consider what I told you. This is a new day and time. You really need to honor what people identify as. He goes, okay, I'll consider it. Well, me and him sitting there shooting shit, chewing the fat shit like that, and she comes back about 5.
That right there would have been a crazy story, right? We've already established that just that part probably didn't fucking happen. In fucking Louisiana, yeah.
Y'all something to eat. He said, yes, I'm gonna believe I'm gonna have the all-American cheeseburger. Zach, what you gonna have? I said, I'll have the same all-American cheeseburger, just add bacon to it. And they say, okay, well, have you considered what I told you about earlier? He said, I'm still considering, but I tell you what, before you run off, would you mind topping off this tea? Because he had drank about that much.
I'm sorry, Mississippi. I said Louisiana, didn't I? Mississippi.
They ran, got him the tea, brought it back to the table. While we were waiting on our food, waitress passed on by again, stopped by the table and said, do you need any more explanation? Like, I would really like to talk about this.
So she come back 3 times to try to convince you, someone who told him, I don't give a fuck about that you should identify people with proper pronouns? That's what you're telling me?
More the way I can get you a full understanding of why I am the way I am. He said, no, I don't need any more explanation, but I tell you what I do need. I need you to top off this tea for me. This is some good tea right here. They take the tea, they go and top it off, they bring it back to the table. The food comes out, and we sitting there eating, and as we're eating, they come by and they say...
He's asked for 4 refills, and this person just keeps coming back and saying, have you thought about identifying trans people with the gender that they feel they identify with?
Hey, y'all need anything else? Y'all need ketchup or anything like that? And say, no, we're good. It's delicious. Thank you. And before they walk off from the table, they say, you sure you don't want to talk about this some more? I really feel like I can get through to you. He goes, no, I just want to eat my cheeseburger, but I tell you what I do need. I need you to top off this tea for me. I'm telling you, some of the best tea I've ever had. They go top off the tea and come back. Now, wait, let's fast forward to when they bring the check. When they bring the check.
So already we had 4 fucking refills, and 4 times the waitress come and try to harass them over using they, them pronouns. Definitely happened. 100%.
They walk up to the table and they throw the check on the table. Okay? And they say, you're going to accept me for who I am. Okay?
The waitress, after saying 4 times, I think we should talk about this because I can really get through to you on using the proper pronouns. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about it? Then suddenly they become so irate. They throw the check down on the table and said, you're going to accept me for who I am. What?
To the table and they throw the check on the table. Okay? And they say, you're going to accept me for who I am. Okay? You have been dodging this situation since you walked in here. You are going to accept me for who I am. I am a person. You can't deny that. And you need to honor my wishes about who I identify as. And you need to address me as such. Well, my buddy takes his last bite of hamburger, wipes his mouth, looks up and says, let me explain something to you, the difference between me and you.
Okay.
I was going to tip you very well because you were a very good waiter. You really were. You were fantastic. My tea was always full. You checked on us throughout the entire meal and everything. But because of what you just did, you just explained something to me that I already knew about you. You being noticed and acknowledged is more important than you getting paid. Because now you get no tip. You see? Because you were rude to us right here at the end of our meal. And up until this point, you were a pretty good waiter. I didn't do anything bad towards you. I didn't address you. I just didn't address you as anything. But because I didn't adhere to your little agenda, you got mad. So now you've explained to me that it's way more important for you to be acknowledged than it is for you to be paid. And that's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. We want...
Oh, okay. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats.
What's in the pocket. Y'all want some kind of recognition, and I'm not going to give it to you. We walk out of the door of the restaurant after that, and I looked at him and said, man, well, like, how'd you know that was going to happen? And he looked at me and he said, Zach, I'm old, buddy, but I've learned a few things throughout the years. Most people, when they come at you, they just want a reaction. Because if they get a reaction...
And it was a veteran buddy that's friends with his dad and him. He's not a veteran. But he's a veteran buddy that's friends with his dad and him. For some reason, he had to include that.
It means they have power over you. If you give them no reaction, they have no power over you. And that drives people crazier than you can even imagine.
Oh.
Keep that in mind next time you're in a situation like this.
Yeah, because this happens to us daily.
Something today. Not every action deserves an equal and opposite reaction. Sometimes you just got to kill them with kindness.
How many trans waitresses do you think they have in DeBeerville, Mississippi that he keeps running into?
And she lost her shit over absolutely nothing. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go back there today and get her fired because, you know, that's who I am as a person.
I'm going to go get her fired because that's who I am as a person.
Love y'all to death. Y'all enjoy. Shit.
And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back there today and get her fired because that's who I am as a person. Every fucking day, it's one of these crazy fucking stories, dude. I mean, it's just sometimes in his car screaming at the steering wheel. Like, I don't know. It's just wild. Zach, see if we get one of the ones where he's like yelling about how pissed off he is about something they didn't hear. Is this one where he's man?
I wasn't even going to tell this story, but I feel like a love like this needs to be talked about. So I'm pretty used to eating lunch by myself every day because normally I get so caught up in whatever the hell I'm doing that I work right through normal lunch hours. And by the time it's time for me to go get something to eat and I'm done with whatever the fuck I'm doing, all of my friends and my woman, everybody's already back at work. So I eat lunch by myself a lot. Well, today I worked right through lunch and I realized I was hungry. So I went to my favorite place. I am a Waffle House whore. I really, really am. I love Waffle House. I go there 3 or 4 times a week.
Every day he makes 2 or 3 videos a day and always something crazy happens to him.
Waitress sees me and says, "Hey, Zach, you want your regular?" Which is a chicken. Yo, I got to tell you a story about what just happened. I have a little nephew, okay? And this little son that me and him are tighter than peas and carrots, we really are. But he gets me in more shit than any other person in this whole world. He calls me up yesterday. He said, "Uncle Zach, you want to run me to school in the morning? I want to ride the big truck." I said, "Yeah, man, I'll run you to school." So I run over, pick him up yesterday. He stayed the night with me last night. We're sitting in the living room, okay? The man, he said, "Uncle Zach, I can ask you something." I said, "What you got, buddy?" He said, "I have a woman problem." I said, "You don't know the half of it, buddy." He said, "No, I'm serious. I need help." I said, "All right, man, I'm going to help you out. What kind of woman problem can you possibly have at 10 years old?" He said, "Well, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting this girl's attention. Like she looks at me sometimes and she talks to me, but she don't want to just stay there and just talk to me. She always wants to talk to everybody." I said, "All right, I know the type. That's okay. That tends to happen throughout life, buddy." He said, "How do I get her attention?" I said, "Man, look, women, no matter the age of them, they respond to confidence. All right? You got to be confident. You got to walk straight up to her, look at her dead in the eye, and say, 'Do you want to be my girlfriend?' And if she does, hug her. Or if you want to go for the gusto, just give her a kiss right there on the lips. Believe me, your daddy will understand if you get in trouble for it. Just give her a kiss right there on the lips." We wake up this morning, take his ass to school, and he asked me about it. He said, "You really think I ought to do that?" I said, "I'm telling you, man, if you want to get this girl's attention, you got to walk straight up to her before class even starts. You walk straight up to her, do it in front of everybody. That way that she knows that you're serious." He goes, "Okay, Uncle Zach, I'm gonna do it." I said, "Sounds great, buddy. I'll holler at you after school and we'll see how it went." I wasn't gone from Car Riders for more than like 30 minutes and I get a phone call. And it's his daddy, who has now been notified that my little nephew walked into class. So, hold on. This little son walked in class, threw his book bag down, walked straight over to this girl, said, "I gotta talk to you." She came over to him and he didn't say a damn word. He just kissed her right on the lips. The only fucking problem was, it was the fucking teacher.
Definitely happened. 100% happened. 10-year-old kissed his teacher in class because he's in love.
This little motherfucker walked in class, walked straight up to his teacher, said, "Come here, I gotta talk to you." She bent down and he kissed her right on the fucking lips. I can't.
Happened so much.
If you guys, I had a man bring a gun into my store today, and I don't sell. I have 100% got a lawsuit.
Here we go. Here we go. Listen, here's one. Here's one that'll get your red, white, and blue blood a flowing. Just wait. By the way, he's a comedian and tours with these jokes. He has tour dates and sells. I can't imagine the fucking people that show up. He's a comedian. Here we go. I 100% have a lawsuit come my way, and I 100% don't give a fuck. True story. Happened at Lowe's or Home Depot, I'm pretty sure.
I have 100% got a lawsuit coming for me, and I 1,000% don't give a shit. Let me tell you what the hell just happened to me, all right? I went down to the home supply store, all right? You can take your pick. It's either blue or orange. You got a 50% chance of getting the shit right. And I went in there, had to get me some 2-inch Deckmate T25 screws. I got a little project I'm working on at the house, had to go in there and get me some fucking screws. I went in there, and I'm walking up and down the damn hardware aisle, all right? And there is this very, very elderly old man, and he's walking up and down this damn aisle. Okay, well, I said, well, hell, the old man knows what he's looking for. I'm just going to grab these T25s. I'm going to go to the checkout. Well, I grab my T25 box of my screws, and I walk up to the damn checkout. And I'm standing in line because I refuse to go through self-checkout, even though they asked me. All right, when you start giving me 15% off like I work here, boom, I'll check my damn self out. Until then, I'm standing in this line. So I'm standing in line. About that time, out the end of the aisle, in the hardware aisle, the old man walks out, and there is a younger person standing there with one of that company's vests on, standing there doing absolutely nothing. Okay? He walks out, and he asks me, he's within ear distance. I can hear it.
Remember, young people don't want to work. They're just fucking assholes and don't want to do anything. You can't find a good one anymore because they don't make them like they used to. That's an underlying theme in the stories.
He asked the young man, he said, excuse me, where are your plastic cap nails at? He said, right down there on that aisle. And the old man said, I've been walking up and down that aisle for a few minutes, sir, and I can't seem to find them. And the young boy turned around and looks at it, down there on the right. You'll find them, go down on the right. And the old man's done been up and down this aisle for like 10 minutes. So the old man said one more thing to him. He said, well, son, my old eyes just ain't as good as they
My old eyes and my dog just died and my wife, she left me and I just don't know that
I guess I just couldn't find them. Can you please show me where they're at? And the young man, where?
Imagine anybody doing this. The guy's like, for the third time, is like, no, I need help. I just can't see as good as I used to. Would you please just show them to me? The guy's like, fuck you, old man. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen.
Wearing that company's vest. Turn, look at old man, said, old man, I ain't showing you where them damn nails is at. All right, they're down there on the right. Walk down there, put your glasses on and find them.
I ain't showing you where them damn nails is at. Put your glasses on and take your old ass to find them. That's exactly what happened.
Well, all of a sudden now, I need plastic cap nails. I didn't need them when I come in the store a few minutes ago, but now there is nothing more important to me than plastic cap nails, because I'm finna test this little son of a bitch's metal. So I walk over to him, get out of my place in line, walk over to him, and I said, hey, where's your plastic cap nails at? He said, they're down there on the right. Just follow the old man. I said, no, you work here. Show me where the plastic cap nails are. And he said, I'm not showing you where the plastic cap nails are. So I took his hand right here. You see this big ass hand? The one to make a double D kid look like a Granny Smith apple? And I grabbed that little son of a bitch by the back of his fucking collar. And I, against his will, drug him down this damn aisle. And I stood him up right by that old man. And all of a sudden,
I bet he did. Fucking hero strength.
He just helped.
That's the same old man that come in 6 months later and try to trade him his daddy's gun.
This can be, his eyes are about that big around, he's pissing on himself, okay? And I said, where's the plastic cap nails at? All of a sudden, he knows exactly where they are. He has no problem showing me where they are. And I released him after he gave that old man them plastic cap nails. And I asked that old man, before the repercussions came in, asked him, I said, sir, why did you let that young man disrespect you like that? Now, keep in mind that this old man has a United States veteran hat on.
Oh!
He fought for this.
And he's a veteran! Oh, my God!
Country. Okay? I asked him, I said, why did you let that young man disrespect you like that? And the old man's just shaking like this right here because he's very uncomfortable. He said, my anxiety, man, my anxiety, I try not to cause no waves. Well, let me tell you something to everybody out there. Young, old, perfectly healthy, mentally handicapped. You do not let that anxiety monster run your life. If you are ever disrespected, you say exactly what you need to say in order to gain your respect back. Because I can guarantee you that somewhere within 10 foot of you is somebody that will protect you from being disrespected. Okay? Just believe that. Do not believe the hype of the damn media and all this shit where everybody's got to be nice to everybody and all this other type of stuff, and you can't stand up for yourself. There is a whole bunch of me's out there that will, I give zero fucks, zero, about the repercussions of my actions. I regret absolutely nothing from what I just did. I welcome it. I hope them damn blue lights pull in this fucking driveway right now, because before I left, I told that store manager when he come over there, you can take a picture of my license. All right, that's where.
Wait, now the store manager you didn't tell us that part of the story, but now you're saying the store manager showed up and you said, take a picture of my license. I don't give a fuck. They'll never take me alive.
I'll be if this needs to continue. But let me tell y'all something right now. Okay, the reason that is available and that is pretty much prominent in America right now is because half of America has never had a board put on their ass. Their ass busted. You understand me? If you want to disrespect somebody, I highly suggest that you look at your surroundings and make sure that I ain't there, because we ain't all sheep. There's a bunch of lions out there right now. We're just hiding in the fucking brush. Shit.
I'm not gonna lie. When he said that the guy had a veteran hat on, I came a little.
You got a 50% chance of getting this shit right. And I went in there, had to give me some 2-inch deck mate teeth. I watched a transgender person lose their. Have yourself a damn Merry Christmas. Let me tell y'all this right now. Some of the nicest people you ever want.
All of them, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Just stories that didn't fucking happen, dude. Anyways, the whole point of showing him was because his head's too little for his body. But I do beef with him secretly. I make videos making fun of him, and I'm like, there's no way this much shit happened to this one goddamn guy.
monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States.
They sent everybody bad right here. They have thick blood, not like me.
But no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela, unilateral.
Venezuela? In addition, Venezuela. I love Tesla.
Bad into the United States. But no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms.
I swear that's where he got that from. There's never been any reports that countries are sending people from insane asylums. He just hears the word asylum seeker and he thinks insane asylums.
Costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything.
Venezuela.
They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill. And the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous
He's only doing it 2,500 miles away instead of 10,000.
administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest
He's
theft
talking about when they privatized their oil, right?
of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did.
That's not our country, bro. Like, I get it. We live in the same, drive us out of our own hemisphere. Really? They're trying to drive us out of the United States?
Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core.
We all know that the chemicals to make fentanyl come from China to plants in Mexico, and the Mexican cartels are bringing that to the United States. Hasn't done a goddamn thing about that. But he'll blame the Venezuelans for taking cocaine to Europe.
Principles of American foreign policy dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's
Did he just say they might call it the Monroe Doctrine? Like Donald Trump, Monroe? Is that what he just said? There's no fucking way. So basically, the Monroe Doctrine just warned every other country, like, hey, stop fucking around in the Americas. This is our side of the country, or of the world. They might call it the Monroe Doctrine. We'll get everybody thinned out. Blood like water.
we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's
And he said document instead of doctrine. He even fucked that up. No one's ever called it that, ever. Ever. The Monroe Doctrine.
Monroe Doctrine we sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen.
We learned really quickly that a lot of times, most of the times, almost every time, it's easier to make friends and help them build up their country on good relations. Even though when you're talking to a country like Venezuela, and let's say we're helping them with infrastructure, this or that or the other, whatever, even though they know that we could take 1/100th of our military and wipe them off the face of the earth, right? We always have that power in the background. We come first with peace and say, hey, we can be beneficial for each other. It's so much more beneficial to everybody involved rather than just being like, we got a big fucking stick, I'm going to hit you in the mouth with it.
So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats.
It's like the bullshit he tried to say with we're taking the Panama Canal or whatever.
The Western Hemisphere.
He dropped that one real quick, didn't he?
Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way.
His donchers.
In our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago.
Did you guys see the video? Tell me this doesn't basically wrap up MAGA in one video. Donald Trump auctioning off Jesus for millions of dollars at an extravagant party at his house. Donald Trump auctioning off Jesus, Jared Leto, for millions of dollars at a party that only billionaires get to go to.
Auction it off, and I'll start at $100,000. Okay? I actually think it's worth much more than that. $2,750,000. Do I hear a $3 million? I'm gonna auction it off, and I'll start at $100,000. Okay? I actually think it's worth much more than that. $2,750,000. Do I hear a $3 million? I'm gonna auction it off, and I'll start.
Burt Lynch Truth bought 10 six-packs. Thank you very much. Your coverage of Burt Bird is second to none. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. Michaela Robertson, Happy New Year with 5 six-packs. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's 2 in a row. I appreciate it. That'll get Burt mad. He's out trying to watch football. If this isn't literally MAGA in a nutshell, he's auctioning off Christianity to his followers. Thank you guys both for the donations. Michaela Robertson and Burt Lynch Truth. I appreciate it.
We're $2 million.
Oh, I think something happened, and I don't know what it was. So today, let me tell you this weird story while we're here. Everybody want a story time? So today, Mariah has to go to Walmart. I'm not going to tell the story about what happened with her family just yet. I'm still pretty fucking mad about it. But after that, Mariah goes to Walmart, okay? And Mariah's card is linked to my card, and I transfer money when she needs it or whatever she needs. She's like, hey, I'm going to go buy gas. I'll send fucking $50 or whatever she needs, right? So she's going to go to Walmart, and she usually walks around and adds up in her head what the total is and gives me a ballpark figure. And she sent it to me, and she said, hey, I think the total is like $260. Do you care to send money before I get the cash register, blah, 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 to my card so I can use it, right? It's a PayPal linked debit card that I use because it's got good rewards. But anyways, I'm like, sure, yeah. So she tells me, she says that the estimated total is like $261, somewhere around there. So I send $300 even to her card. $300 even, right? $261 estimated. You know, she usually a little bit low because she doesn't add tax. She just rounds up instead of adding tax. So I sent $300 even to her card and should be good, right? $300 totals $260 something. Good to go. She goes up to pay at Walmart. She tries paying, I think it's at self-checkout. I'm not sure. But she tries paying at Walmart. The total is $269.27. Okay? She puts her card in, puts her PIN in because it's a debit card, right? And it beeps for a minute, right? Then comes back and says she still owes. It didn't pay for I've never heard about this. Like, I understand you can do a partial payment if you, like, ask the person, like, I want to put $100 on this card and, $500 on whatever. But this is just her sticking her card in, putting her PIN in. The card runs, and tells her she still owes $236 something. So she's like, that's weird. Why would it only pay for like $33.50? That's strange, right? She goes and checks her PayPal account that I just sent the $300 to, and it's $0. I just sent $300 to it. Walmart only charged her $33 something, and her account's $0. But then she looks below that, and they already took out the full amount. So Walmart charged her card $269.27. That was the full amount for the bill. Then it charged another $33.48 to take the entire $300. Now, again, her total is $269.27. She swapped her card one time, and it charged her twice and pulled every fucking cent out of the account. And it's still telling her that she owes $230 some. So she calls me and she's like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, well, I can see your account. Like, it pulled the fucking money out and more. Get somebody from Walmart. And they're like, we don't know. We don't have no problem, blah, blah, blah. Like, all it's showing on our end, we can't see. I don't know what's going on. We can cancel it, but it'll take you 2 to 3 business days to get your money back and blah, blah, blah. All they're showing on their computer is that it only pulled out the $33 for no reason at all. Right? She didn't ask to split the payment. She didn't say, can I put 33 on this one and 250? No reason at all that it should have even pulled out $33. Zero reason. I think I can show you guys this. Hold on. Let me make sure there's nothing on here that'll get me in trouble. There's no reason that it should have pulled out the $33 in any way, shape, or form at all. That's the craziest fucking thing. Like, why did he even charge that at all? Ever. Both of them at the exact same time at 8:43 p.m. Here it is. I'll show it on the screen. It pulled out right here. This is the full amounts. Walmart Supercenter, $38.52, $269.27. Right? $260, that's the full amount. Then after that, it pulled out $33.48, which is, if you add that together, that's the $300 she had in there, right? A little bit more than $300, but she probably had like a couple bucks in there. It pulled out every dime in her account until her account balance was $0 and it couldn't pull anymore. It won't let her overdraft. That card won't overdraft at all. It pulled out every fucking dime in her account. So she's standing there talking to Walmart. I'm mad as fuck. Like, what do you mean? Like, and she's like, well, I don't know. Like, my husband sent me the money. I paid for it. It's gone from my account. I can see you fucking took it. Right? Like, I'm not paying for my groceries twice. And they're like, well, we can cancel it, but all we're showing is the $33 charge. We're not showing that $260 something charge. So we'll just have to, I don't know what we can do. If we refund it, it'll take 2 to 3 days, but you'll only get back the 33 because we're not even showing that. And after like 10 minutes of her talking to the cashier that works the self-checkout and the manager, after 10 minutes, they refund the $269.27. Why? Why would this happen? They pull, so now it's as if she only paid the $33.48, which is what they're showing. They pull her tag and take her over to customer service. They're like, you're not checking out here anymore because something's wrong with this machine. They take her over to customer service and let her pay the remainder. But why would it even do that? Why would it? There was money in there, right? There's enough money in there. Again, I told you the card can't go negative. If you like, say she tried to pay some $350, it would just decline. It will not go negative. Why would it pull out the full amounts, then every other fucking penny that's in the accounts, and then refund the full amounts after 10 minutes? That's weird. I thought it was like a fucking skimmer or something crazy, or like, did you try running the card twice, like repetitively before it had time to process it? Nothing. None of that happened. Isn't that crazy? I thought it was crazy. Weird story, but they finally figured it out. Autumn sent 5 6-packs. Thanks for everything, Will. I'm not a happy person, nor am I stable, but your show helps. Happy 2026. So join the rest of us. I'm not happy or stable. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Going once? 2,750,000. Who is it?
I watch my accounts like a hawk, dude, because I've been scammed a bunch of times.
Oh, I know who that guy is. He's got plenty of games. We thank you very much. And the charity. Thank you very much.
That's the guy that bought Jesus.
Thank you very much.
That's the lady that painted Jesus. Some people said it, that one person said, you're not,
Donald Trump.
it said, you're not fooling me. That's Melania, the picture.
And I'll start.
By the way, they gave Jesus bright blue eyes. White Jesus with bright blue eyes. I really wish we had some type of historically accurate portrait of Jesus, like a painting or something that was verified. They would come unglued. They would come unglued. Brown Jesus? Are you shitting me? They couldn't handle it.
Future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to
Thank you guys for all the donations tonight. I appreciate it.
protect commerce.
It does kind of look like her, yeah.
And resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security.
What did she say when she was reading that? Twinkling. What did she say? What was the word? Was it twinkling ding? What the fuck was she saying when she read that kid's book?
Just like tariffs they've made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will.
I gotta fix the buy me a coffee. I don't know why it doesn't pop up on the screen automatically anymore. Something's broken there.
Crash the cartels, and we will defend our
Quismos.
citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic.
Quismos.
Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America.
I'm gonna watch that again, actually.
Allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen.
Can happen to anybody.
If they aren't just fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist Maduro is finally gone, and Venezuela people are free. They're free again.
We're basically just starting up colonies again. Fuck it.
been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation this morning. It's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that
None of them like or respect you, so it's fair.
just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And
An attack on sovereignty?
And I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
It was an attack on sovereignty? It's a weird way to phrase it.
Can Santa see in the dark? Does he wear
Can Santa see in the dark? Does he wear green or red goggles? Can Santa see in the dark?
vision goggles? That
Night vision goggles.
one green, everything green? I bet he'd like that because Santa likes green. Or heat vision goggles because he might like red
Santa loves red.
better. Should we leave out carrots, not cookies, on Christmas Eve, since they're good for his eyesight? No. The twinkling lights on
The twinkling lights. Santa loves the twinkling lights.
the tree. No. The twinkling lights on the tree will make enough light for
The twinkling lights. Santa.
without bumping
Santa, no.
to leave a present or two or three and get a kiss
She forgets.
from the dog. If
She forgets to show the kids the pictures. They're like, what the fuck is going on with Santa? Santa Maria.
it's a dog that leaks, and take a cookie or two or three and then leave. Santa goes up the chimney the same way he comes down, and I have
Santa the twinkling.
Santa does that. But I'm so glad.
This girl looks fucking terrified, bro.
Can Santa see in the dark? Does he wear
Yeah, I don't. The only thing I can figure, and hear me out, maybe I'm crazy. If she would have been a normal person, not with Trump, an Einstein visa and with Trump in a penthouse, if she would have been a normal person that had to work a job and interact day to day with other people who have different accents, right? Thousands and thousands of people that you run into, and everybody picks up a little bit of accent from someone else. Even just moving across the country, even in old age, you'll start to change your accent. Maybe it's like a gilded tower thing where she only ever sees the servants. She doesn't interact with a lot of people, and maybe that's why it stayed so thick, or it's fake. But I don't know, right? When you have somebody that does your grocery shopping, you never work a job, you never interact with people, you only show up for 5 minutes to be arm candy, you don't talk, you don't do anything, you just like make appearances. Maybe you don't run into those people that would change your accent. Or maybe I'm crazy.
night vision
Twinkling lights.
make everyone green, everything green? I bet
Oh.
Elon Musk, election funding via fraud. And Musk is quote tweeting an account that says there are $35 million in political donations from Minnesota Somali fraudster daycares. But as the proposed community note points out, this is CCAP funding received from the government, not political donations. In other words, the image that's being quote tweeted is labeled CCAP funding. the guy who created
Literally, Elon Musk is sharing a chart from a website from a guy who created it named Beaver on Twitter. And it literally says, with no sources whatsoever, like, how did you get this information? You can't get it without specifically requesting it for each fucking daycare. How did you get this information? We don't know. But he's quoting it as if the Somalis donated this month $35 million to political candidates. But even the chart that they're talking about is not claiming that. It's claiming this is how much money they received for fraudulent daycares is their claim, right? That's the claim they're making.
The website where this table is from is also the source of the confusion. He says daycares in Minnesota donated a combined $35 million to political campaigns in the last 2 years.
Daycares in Minnesota donated a combined $35 million to political campaigns. That's not what this says. Even if we take this as true, what it says is daycares received. What it's claiming is daycares received $35 million. But this guy, this Beaver guy, is the guy who wrote the websites and claims that daycares donated $35 million to political campaigns. You see the difference? Like if I said that Trump gave $20 million to MAGA participants, right? MAGA small businesses. Trump gave $25 million to MAGA small businesses. And I had a chart that said that. Even if that chart's true or not true, if I claim that those small businesses gave $25 million to Trump, that's not even what my fucking chart says.
And then when people pointed out he was wrong, he writes, wait, but that's CCAP funding, not political grants. No, it's misinformation. We don't care. We have just stopped following the rules.
So people point out that's not political donations. That is CCP payments to daycares. He replies, we don't care. We have stopped following the rules like everyone else did a long time ago. The gloves are off, and you are not going to like what happens next. Cry harder. He's admitting that they're just making shit up. They're just making sources up. They're just making numbers up. They're just making claims up and spreading them as if they're news. And a bunch, like Elon Musk, plus a bunch of other prominent right-wing figures shared this as if it was the truth. And he's in the comments saying, we don't care. Well, I know it's not true. We don't care. The gloves are off. We're just going to lie. Like, how fucked up is that?
Everyone else did a long time ago. The gloves are off, and you are not going to like what happens next. Cry harder. The website Somali Scan doesn't explain where they get their total CCAP funding numbers from. To my knowledge, that's not public information. The one source they give is the Minnesota DHS site, which is the licensing lookup for the individual child.
But it does not show how much money they receive from the CCAP or TCPA, whatever it is.
It doesn't have a number like the total amount of CCAP funding that the center received. So back to Elon Musk. The data that he's retweeting doesn't really come from a credible source. Somali Scan is not an organization with a long reputation of accurate, credible reporting or something. The data comes from a person who admits that they are lying and making stuff up for rhetorical effect. And there's no source, no explanation for how they could get the data that they claim to have. And it's labeled something completely different than how...
Everybody knows Trump's a pedophile. The auto mod is just pulling that message. I don't know what your argument it is here. Cool. You're not costing me any time, and we're not helping you in any way. The auto mod is doing it. Good luck.
Musk is interpreting it. Musk is interpreting it as if this is election funding as opposed to CCAP funding received. Jason Calacanis, host of the All In podcast, also.
So another big right-wing influencer shares it, loving the investigative journalist.
Tweets this and says, loving the
and the guy's in his own comments saying, I made this up and I don't give a fuck what you think.
Investigative journalists doing database and analysis. What? Where are the investigative journalists in the room with us? You're quote tweeting a guy who says in his follow-up tweets that he is making stuff up. The idea of a cargo cult is that a primitive tribe built a replica of an airport, hoping that planes would land in their replica airport and give them cargo. It's the idea that you're going to superficially copy something that you don't really understand in hopes of getting the reward, the cargo. I feel like that's what's going on here. Oh, investigative journalist, database, analysis. Oh, I love that. That's great. No, that's not investigative analysis. That's just a guy putting numbers on a website who will tell you that he's lying. Our AI and
that's right. Just be normal.
And also All In podcast member David Sachs, he's seemingly buying into this. David Sachs tweeted, prediction in response to Nick Shirley, the fraudsters and their government enablers get better at covering their tracks. Paper trails disappear, audits become impossible, blue state spending becomes.
I don't understand how MAGA. Someone broke into a daycare, and it seemed like they broke in through the daycare not only to break into the daycare, but to break into a dollar store that was connected to the daycare. And they cut a hole in the wall. They went through the daycare. They broke into the daycare office. They went to an adjoining wall with a dollar store and started cutting through it, but never got all the way through. When they were leaving, they stole a file cabinet and some other things. MAGA is like, oh, of course they just happened to steal all the paperwork that would have proven that this daycare was committing fraud. But it seems to me like if you're in that type of world where you're like stealing shit like this, you would want to steal a file cabinet at a daycare because it's got names, addresses, and social security numbers. Those are things that you can set. It's not like, why would they steal paperwork? Because there's no value to that. Like, there's a lot of value to that. Right? If you're trying to steal somebody's identity, especially kids, because kids, if their socials are included on that, no one ever checks the credit score of kids. There are tons of loans taken out in minors' names every fucking year by scammers. That seems like valuable data to me, but they want to write the whole thing off as if, oh, it just happened to steal the documents that would have proven that they were scammers.
A black hole. Well, don't worry, David. No matter how good government fraudsters get at covering their tracks, people like Beaver will be able to just invent information and call it analysis. And credulous morons like yourself will be able to uncritically accept and amplify that. Chamath Palihapitiya, another billionaire all-in podcaster Trump supporter, says Doge is becoming decentralized. Kind of. This is a lot like Doge, isn't it, Chamath? Isn't it? But I mean, as Elon Musk at Doge was just lying and making stuff up. And yeah, I guess now that's decentralized. Now he's retweeting people who are doing that. Nice. I think there is actually a lot of fraud happening. And I think the government enables it and makes it hard to prosecute. And so in a way, I feel kind of foolish or weak for criticizing Elon Musk and people like him on this topic. Because, well, I don't think they are literally right. I think they're at least directionally right, pointing to a real issue. But
yeah, there's probably fraud going on that needs to be investigated. We shouldn't just blame it on the fucking Somalis or claim that any daycare we show up that doesn't want to show us every kid inside is fraudulent.
At the same time, people like Doge, centralized or decentralized, just seem so foolish and like they are admitted liars. And I don't know what the right word is. It's hard to align myself with those ideas either. It's like the two sides are one, government fraudsters. We're going to keep giving daycares in Minnesota hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money, even though investigators from Health and Human Services have thought for years.
By the way, at this point, like basically every daycare featured in Nick Shirley's little fucking video has been investigated, and they haven't found any fraud there. Because that'd be the first thing they'd be fucking running around with is, we got this one and it come from that video. They've went to all those places. They haven't said that any of them were committing fraud.
That most of the daycare centers in Minnesota are engaged in fraud of some kind. We're just going to keep paying them hundreds of millions of dollars for years. Huh? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that, government? And then on the other hand, the other side or the other team, it's these credulous morons who are saying things like, oh, we've uncovered $35 million of fraud-enabled government campaign contributions. Oh, really? How do you know that? Well, Somaliscan.com has a list of CCAP funding recipients. What? That's not a good source, and it's not even saying the thing you think it's saying or the thing you're describing it as. And the guy who created the website says he's lying.
I think this guy, like, sometimes I don't agree with him, but I think he tries really hard to find data to support his claims or his accusations against other people's claims.
If government fraud is a real problem, and I think it is, it's a serious problem. So you should treat with it seriously. Not like this. You should find good evidence and present it well and describe it accurately. That's what I think. Thanks for your time. Elon Musk, election funding via...
They'll retweet anything as long as it supports their narrative. They'll retweet fucking anything and say, I love this. It's awesome. I can't believe this is true.
For me is when I'm about to start.
This is such a huge tradition of the smoking deaths per year countdown. It resets at New Year's. It's crazy that this has become a tradition, is it not? We're so cooked, dude. God damn it. Who the fuck already died? You couldn't hold out till the fucking video was... It's a 3-minute or less video. Holy shit, dude. We couldn't even fucking make it. Couldn't even fucking make it. Ridiculous.
We have some news right now. Hours after bombing Venezuela, Donald Trump is now posting on his Truth Social account videos suggesting that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz...
It was somebody smoking in one of those fucking alleged drug boats.
...assassinated, was responsible for the assassination of Democratic lawmaker Melissa Hortman. I can't even make this up if I tried. This is a post on his Truth Social account within the past 10 minutes. The video title, Did Tim Walz Really Have Melissa Hortman Assassinated? He then spends subsequent posts talking about Minnesota and this alleged fraud that's going on in Minnesota once again, throwing out complete conspiracy theories about why Melissa Hortman was murdered. And now he is suggesting, based on this video that he posted, that the governor of Minnesota had a Democratic lawmaker assassinated. There's nothing, I mean, the only way to describe this is completely unhinged. And a lot of people are going to say, well, what's going to happen? Unfortunately, probably nothing. But everyone needs to see what the president is posting right now. More updates soon. Spread the word. Follow for more. We have some news right now. Hours after bombing Venezuela, Donald Trump is now posting on his Truth Social account videos suggesting that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz,
of course he is,
was responsible for the assassination of Democratic lawmaker Melissa Hortman. I can't even make this up.
Horrible, disgusting fucking, like, get the fuck out of here, dude. The fact that he would even reshare these things.
Well,
as
the
the,
OPEC 20
not as like
now the second,
just some crazy guy, right? He's the sitting president of the United States, and he shares the craziest fucking shit from lunatics who follow him.
dumbest thing Donald
I have
Trump
not
ever
seen
did.
this yet.
Yep.
Well, the OPEC 2020 deal is now the second dumbest thing Donald Trump ever did. Yeah. So we go to Venezuela, which is a founding member of OPEC, and seize their country and their oil. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. All on this notion that U.S. oil companies are going to go down there and get rich, even though they've already said, we're not going down there. And you don't have to go back very far to see how this could turn out. Just go back to 2018, the last time Donald Trump got OPEC to increase production, just like he did this time. Because it makes MAGA happy. They think we're drill baby drill when we're actually just getting more oil from Russia and Iraq. Yeah, that's what's really lowering our gas prices, not us. Now, he got them to do that on the promise that he would put sanctions on Iran, and as soon as he did it, he lifted sanctions on Iran and crashed the entire global oil market. That's what got us the OPEC 2020 deal. That's what got us $5 gas. OPEC's revenge against Donald Trump. And it will come again very soon. Donald Trump playing chess with OPEC is not good for us. OPEC is like that Magnus guy that wins all the chess world championships. And Trump is like, I don't know, Sling Blade? Hey, maybe it's Forrest Gump. Yeah, stupid is as stupid does. Thanks. Well, the OPEC 2020 deal is now the second dumbest thing Donald Trump ever.
That's great. Trump playing with fire, as always. That'll always end up great. Never been burnt, chat. Never.
Well, well, well. Baby, thanks to these here interwebs, every day I learn something new about the not-so-weeping widow. You know who I'm talking about, baby. Yes. Little Erica Kirk over there at Turncoat USA. Baby, these turncoats. Anyway, now I'm going to tell you a few things that I did already know, and then I'm going to drop something on you that I did not know that's in the brew. Firstly, she's a liar, and we all knew that. She likes to get up there on TV and tell you she's never drank alcohol and she didn't date anybody before Charlie, and she forgot that the whole world knew she was on an act.
She's even got fucking engagement photos up.
Fucking dating show, getting drunk as fuck on every episode. Not to mention the fact today that the new guy that's up there speaking for Turning Point USA is her ex-boyfriend. Who had beef with Charlie back in the day. Ooh, baby, it's messy as hell, honey.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Turning coats turn, baby. Anyway, what I did not know about Miss Erica Kirk is that she just so happens to be the granddaughter of immigrants. It gets so much fucking better. Her grandfather immigrated here from Sweden, dear. So much like little baby Nosferatu, Stephen Miller, yeah, bitch, you wouldn't even be here if the world was underneath your policies for immigration, baby. You would be deported expeditiously. You want to do away with birthright citizenship? Okay, that includes you, you fucking fool. Anyway, so that was happy for me to know, but this takes the fucking cake today because this goddamn hoe ain't even 100% white. No, baby, she is Syrian and Lebanese. You heard that correctly. Yes, baby. She carries Syrian and Lebanese genes from her grandmother. Now, you may not know why I stated quite clearly that they're from her grandmother, dear, but a Zionist will tell you, if it wasn't your mother who was a Jew, then you're not a Jew. So, by your own Zionist definition, bitch, you ain't white, you ain't Swedish either. You're Syrian and Lebanese. I'm just saying, baby, I'm just saying, you can't make this shit up, honey. My. These fucking guys. She likes to pretend that she's all holy in that shit, friend, but she's not. She's a grifter. She started her career trying to make something of herself out there. She appeared in a music video. She got on TV on a reality show, and when that didn't go where she wanted it to go, she jumped.
Yeah, she's in a music video for like My Kinda Crazy or something like that.
To politics. Because that's the new kind of a celebrity.
Dude, if you ever want to see grifters, find the Hodge twins content before they became MAGA. They tried everything. They tried comedy, and they tried satire, and they tried skits, and they tried latching onto this group and that group and doing experiments in their backyard. They tried fucking everything, dude, before they finally became token black guys.
Around here. And Daddy W Pants is making sure that the only people that are considered celebrities and are constantly on your fucking TV are politicians or people in his sphere, dear. Yes, that's why he's coming against Hollywood today. And every other fucking day. Because a bunch of mediocre ass white people who might not even be all fucking white couldn't get themselves a real career on a TV screen in front of you. They had no actual acting skills. So now they're in politics.
Stop.
Ain't that some shit?
That's it.
Well,
just stop.
Baby, thanks to these here
Just stop. That's all I've got to say. Just stop. Fucking crazy.
So music reviewer Anthony Fantano posted this. The tweet says, "Am I going?"
Okay, if you're gonna make a video about your husband,
may be the greatest grok win in the world. I think Bug Dude shared this. This may be the greatest grok post that's existed today. I'm sure they'll get better. This may be the best one.
So music reviewer Anthony Fantano posted this. The tweet says, "Am I going nuts?" And as you see there, it's a side-by-side picture of JD Vance.
Look how much JD Vance, when he tones back his eyeliner, looks like Erica Kirk, right? There's a lot of similarities there. I mean, usually his eyeliner's a lot heavier than hers, but they kind of reversed role, like Freaky Friday situation. They look a lot alike, right?
And Erica Kirk. The implication being, well, they do kind of look alike. Then, of course, Grok gets...
At Grok, do these two look related? And that's where the magic happens, baby.
Involved. This woman, Canadian Jennifer, said at Grok, "Do these two look related?" And you just will not believe Grok's response. This is what Grok said. "They share striking facial similarities, same eye shape, nose, and overall structure. It's actually JD Vance in both. A standard photo and one from his Yale days in drag with a blonde..."
It thinks it's JD Vance. Grok thinks that picture is JD Vance in drag. Grok thinks that picture of Erica Kirk is JD Vance in drag.
Wig. They're not related. They're the same.
It thinks it's this picture. Grok thinks that's Erica Kirk.
Person. Thank you, Grok, for clarifying this important point. Because while the rest of us just think they look like siblings, apparently Elon Musk's Grok thinks Erica Kirk is JD Vance in a wig. Which would not be the first time that has happened. Simply incredible work. So music reviewer Anthony Fantano posted this. The tweet says, "Am I..."
That may be the greatest Grok post, tweet, whatever, of all time. I'm just saying. It's pretty fucking good. All right, guys, it's 1:30 here. Support the show if you want to. I know we kind of got sidetracked talking about my TikTok nemesis, Zach Rushing with a tiny head, but we got through some stuff. Viva la Venezuela, I guess. Thank you guys for joining us. Support the show at Just Quick Tools, where you'll find all the links to donate. Leave a message. We read it live on air. Thank you for the donations. We had 3 different donations that came in tonight, back to back to back. So thank you for those. Support the show. That's how we pay the bills around here. If you want the show to keep going, if you don't, or tune in, share, whatever. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Let me see you bye. We got to laugh, because if we don't, right, we take the fucking Remington retirement plan. You know what I mean? Have a good night.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have
the forever nap.
You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place.
Plus, we got to ban that dumb bitch that always talking about the Nets again. I'll unban her and him, her, whatever, in a few weeks. We'll see how long I can take it then. You never know. They lasted almost 4 days in chat. So I think that's good. That shows growth in me. Because they're just as fucking dumb.
Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord and to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped him to
But what does the dead of night mean?
myself in orbit, strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between.
I forgot that they said no equipment damage like 4 times, and we did take equipment damage and injuries. Whatever.
Stop. What?
The dead of night. I read between the lines.
Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is bombs and alcohol.
Remember, you can't spell hatred without red hats. So,
Yo, I think I started some shit.
midnight meat hammers, that's right.
Get lit, get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
Mariah had a little altercation with her family. I was going to tell the story tonight, but I'm still kind of pissed off about it. So I figured better not get into it tonight.
Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it.
Show up and start cracking fucking heads at her grandma's house.
Doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Ass on slow and bullshit, shit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby eating heathens. Believing in
Good night, guys.
no meaning is bullshit. Will